Of the County Legislature. We'll begin our meeting this evening with the first committee is the Committee on Economic Development and Planning, to be chaired by Legislator Hughes.
So, hello. A non-functioning microphone, but that's, I think you can hear me. Calling to order tonight the meeting of the Committee on Economic Development and Planning. We have one item on our agenda tonight. This is the presentation of the 5-year capital plan from Metroplex, which is required under the Metroplex statute. So here to present that tonight in his role as Chair of the Metroplex Board is Ray Gillen.
Thank you. Thank you, Legislator Hughes. This is the short presentation, so don't worry. As you know, the Metroplex statute requires us to come up twice a year. In February, we do the annual report, which is the long, hour-long presentation. This is a much briefer report on our capital plan. It has been approved by the Metroplex Board. We held the public hearing. And the last step is to give you an annual briefing on that plan. You have a copy in your packet, so I won't go into all the details, but basically it calls for 2 capital projects. One is repair, refurbishment, state of good repair for the network of 11 parking lots that Metroplex owns downtown. It specifically focuses on 8 of those lots. We're continually investing in those lots it's an important part of our downtown development success. The overall cost is $1.7 million. And for those who are watching at home, you can find information about our parking system at www.parkschenectady.com. Has all the information you need. But we in the report, we provide a summary of what we plan to do at these 8 different lots to keep them looking good and safe and functional and able to support shoppers, visitors, and employees who work, and people now, especially who live downtown. The second project is continuing to invest in the Metroplex parking garage. That is a $928,000 project. Again, the goal is to keep that garage in a state of good repair. We made significant improvements in the garage in 2021. We helped to rebuild the entrance doors, made them more ADA accessible. We painted all the stairwells in the garage. And so we're constantly tweaking and working on the garage. It's a very important structure downtown. It supports thousands of employees who work downtown every day and visitors, proctor's nights, show nights. So it's designed to keep the garage in a state of good repair. It's in excellent condition. We continue to invest in it. So basically, our capital program focuses on Metroplex assets that we own and operate. As you can see, we lay out a schedule to keep these facilities in good operating order. Happy to answer any questions.
Legislator Pratt.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you so much and thank Metroplex for all of your hard work keeping these wonderful parking lots in good repair and serving the downtown area. I have been hearing from a lot of our downtown business owners and residents that there is a struggle sometimes to find enough parking. I'm just wondering, in the plan, is there anything planned for new parking spots coming in the future, or is this more of just maintaining what we have at this time?
That's a very good question. Thank you for your comments. We will be adding to our parking assets shortly. We'd rather not discuss the details of those because they're pending property transactions, but we've heard the same thing. To us, it's a moment of pride when we hear that it's hard to find parking downtown. It's a good thing, but we do accommodate a lot of folks who visit downtown and live downtown and work downtown, But our goal is to continue to expand the network of parking lots, and you'll see some activity on that shortly.
It's a good problem to have.
Yes,
Thank you so much
exactly.
for your work.
Any other questions or comments?
Just an
Legislator
infrastructure question. Ray, thank you. I commend you as well. We appreciate all the things that Metroplex does in our community. How long will these refurbishments, is this a 10-year plan?
It's a
Is it
five-year plan.
5 years, so another 5 years, we'll probably have to revisit some of this.
Right.
Very good.
Any other questions? Well, hearing none, the Committee on Economic Development and Planning is closed. Ray, thank you for coming
Thank you.
tonight and presenting the 5-year capital plan. We look forward to the improvements in our parking structure. Thanks.
Thank you. Our next committee is the Committee on Health, Housing, and Human Services, to be chaired by Legislator Osterlich.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Committee on Health, Housing, and Human Services is now called to order. We have 2 items on the agenda tonight, and we have with us Darren Samaha, Director of Community Service. Thank you for coming. The first item is HHHS 3, a resolution regarding budgetary amendments to the Office of Community Services operating budget to reflect increased state aid. And Mr. Samaha, if you could please give us some background on it.
Terrific, and thank you. So we have 2 requests tonight. The first one is for the New York State Office of Mental Health, which has increased state aid to our office. For much of it is for cost of living allowances to our agencies for direct care staff, through our housing programs, through agencies like Northern Rivers, and a couple of others. We also are getting $53,259 for the Dwyer Peer-to-Peer Veterans Program. So that's a program designed to provide peer support to our veterans who may be at higher risk of mental health, substance use, and other issues that we certainly want to make sure they're being served. And peer support is a great way to do that. It's somebody who has been through what they've been through and can relate well to the problems that a veteran may be experiencing. And so we have, as I mentioned, the various COLA increases and some reestablishment of some forensic funding that had been taken out at one point, and it's been restored. And so the total for that is $200,972.
Thank you. With the Veterans Peer-to-Peer Program, is that a new program or is that supplementing what we've already got?
It would be a new program for us. They've been rolling it basically from downstate, upstate over the past several years. And so we're fortunately next in line.
Right. Are there any questions?
Just a question on the peer-to-peer. So would we take folks that we already have in-house within our existing programs that might be veterans, or we need to bring in an outside person and do specialized training that we then can outreach with?
We're actually, Bill Frank and I are meeting on Thursday, and we're going to talk about how we're going to partner on this, because I think it's really important, obviously, for our veterans department to do that. So we're going to talk through next steps of what might be the best programmatically, sort of in-house or or an outside agency providing it, for example. So that's sort of in the planning stages right now.
Thank you, Legislator Russo. Any other questions or comments?
Move to report.
Second. Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? The motion is reported to the floor, or the initiative. The second item is HHHS 4, a resolution regarding budgetary amendments to the Office of Community Services operating budget to reflect increased state aid. And if you can comment on this one, please,
Great,
Mr.
thank you.
Small.
Yes, so fortunately, the New York State Office of Alcohol and Substance Abuse Services has issued us a small amount of money increase, and we have $5,000 that would go towards a one-time adjustment for their medically supervised outpatient program. We also are hopefully receiving $3,500, which would be split amongst our 4 halfway houses, which would go to provide locked medication boxes for individuals who are there getting shelter and treatment at the same time. So it would provide a secure way for them to have their medications. And then lastly, we have a very small COLA to our dual recovery position as well.
Great, thank you so much. Any questions or comments?
Move to report.
Second?
I second that.
Thank you. Any, I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The initiative is reported to the floor, and the Committee on Health, Housing, and Human Services is now closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next committee is the Committee on Labor and Civil Service, to be chaired by Legislator Frazzoni.
Good evening. I call the Committee on Labor and Civil Service to order. There are 4 items on the agenda. The first is LCS Initiative 6, a resolution authorizing the county manager to enter into a collective bargaining agreement with CSEA Local 1000, AFSCME, AFL-CIO Local 885, representing the Central Dispatch Unit. And County Attorney Gardner will provide some background on this initiative.
Thank you, Chairman Frazzoni. This is the third collective bargaining agreement we're trying to enter into with this particular local. First one was a 5-year agreement. We had a 2-tier wage system in the second contract. We eliminated the 2-tier wage system and made a lot of progress in recruitment. That being said, we still have turnover among new employees of over 50%. It's actually around 60%. So we're trying to incentivize current dispatchers to stay and also try to get them to compete for promotional opportunities. Many of the provisions are similar to what are in the other contracts, the vaccine bonus day and vaccine bonus pay, changes in the Medicare Advantage plans which help us save money, health insurance co-pays. We incentivize telemedicine and reduce that to try to get more people to take advantage of that. The pay increases are 2.25% the first year with a $2,000 bonus, not in base, and then in years 23, 24, 25, and 26, it's 2.25% plus $500 into the base. Again, we're trying to remain competitive in the marketplace for dispatchers, taking into consideration they work 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They work on Christmas, Thanksgiving, all the holidays, 4th of July, and it's a difficult job. We also have an increase in the differential between Public Safety Dispatcher 1 and the first level supervisor, increasing it from 8% differential right now to 11% during the course of the contract. The reason we're doing that is because we're having difficulty getting anybody to take the civil service exam for the promotions. At the same time, we're also looking to increase the differential from between the public safety dispatchers 2s and the senior dispatchers from 4% to 7% during the course of the contract. And again, we've been having difficulty getting individual dispatchers to take advantage of promotional opportunities. We're hoping that this will do this. The rest of the provisions are similar. Juneteenth added as holiday, paid family leave for bonding with newly born, adopted, or fostered children. We adjusted the gym reimbursement, and there was a number of provisions that Kevin Spahn, our director, who's doing an outstanding job, thought would be helpful as far as sick leave, requiring doctor's notes, holiday time accumulation, bereavement leave, overtime notifications. We're increasing the shift differential on the afternoon shift from 2% to 4%. We're probably a little bit overloaded with the newest dispatchers on the afternoon shift, and that tends to be the busiest shift and the most difficult shift to work. We increased the overtime on holidays for Christmas and Thanksgiving from 2 times to 2.5 times. And that's it in a nutshell. Essentially, we're trying to remain competitive in a marketplace and try to keep as many of our good dispatchers working for us and not for other towns or municipalities.
Are there any questions? Mr. McGarry?
I think it's safe that I can assume I'm speaking for the minority, although I'll let them speak their piece. There's so many good things and aspects about this negotiation. As a member of a union my entire working life, first at Local 21, for more than a decade at WRGB, and then later as a school teacher with NYSET, I had personal knowledge of the kind of time and effort that went into negotiations. So I don't want our collective thoughts to be taken as ungrateful in any way, shape, or form for the negotiations. But to me, there's a poison pill in there for 2 reasons, and that is one that involves incentivizing the vaccine and booster. As a parent of a daughter who, she's a nurse, she had to get the vaccine or lose her job. She has been suffering, I don't know how long, 6 to 8 months with serious side effects that doctors told her were a direct result of her vaccine. And she has a couple girlfriends who are going through the same thing. On a policy level, I'm concerned about the message it sends our employees, because we don't know if we're going to need yearly vaccines with this virus yet. What about the flu vaccine moving forward? I'm concerned that we may have to incentivize our employees every year with sweeteners to encourage them to get the vaccine. Those are my comments. Less a question and more about comments.
If I could just respond as far, I'm personally aware of an individual who just recently retired from the county who spent 23 or 24 days in Ellis Hospital, most of those days in intensive care, was not vaccinated. We believe overall that vaccinations provide, if not perfect protection from getting the virus, they do tend to make it less virulent and less dangerous to individuals. We believe we will save money by having most of the workforce vaccinated. And right now, I think we can say we're at over 90% for our entire workforce for getting them vaccinated. We're trying to get the booster up as well. But we believe it will actually save us money. So that's our viewpoint.
And I appreciate that. I can tell you my daughter had COVID, and subsequent to that, wound up having the vaccine, which apparently is, and I'm no expert, but it apparently is the wrong way to have it done, to have the vaccine first. And then if you get COVID, I guess it tends to lessen the side effects. But we're concerned about lifelong consequences with her. Anyways, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Mr. Coleman?
Yeah, there's been a lot of lawsuits that have gone on for discrimination for people who have religious or health conditions that don't allow them to get the vaccine. Something that we've seen here, in New York State as well as nationwide. Is that something that we are worried about? And is it fair to put that burden on the taxpayers if someone were to file suit against us?
Well, there's nothing really to file a suit against us for because we're not mandating vaccinations for anybody except at the nursing home where it's mandated by the state of New York and by the Medicare and Medicaid services unit. So we've had outstanding, I think we're doing a lot better than other municipalities as far as getting most of our workforce vaccinated voluntarily. Incentives help. We created under the leadership of the legislature and the county manager, an atmosphere which encourages people to take COVID very seriously and to realize that vaccinations are incredibly important to keep us safe. So we're not coming down with a heavy hand. We're trying to provide incentives, and not only will it keep people healthier, it'll save us money in the long run.
Just to clarify, just so there's no confusion, we're not mandating vaccines. It's being encouraged, and there's an incentive if you get it. But this in no way mandates any of our employees to do that.
The only employees that are being mandated are those at the Glendale Nursing Home.
Thank you.
And that's required by the state and the federal government. So,
Any other questions? Is there a motion to report?
Well, I'll move it. I was just gonna make a comment, and that's that it looks as if we're making progress in what has been a difficult set of negotiations over the years, because with some history here, we brought together bargaining units from a number of municipalities to combine them in our central dispatch. And so this looks to be like another step forward in the effort to create a more cohesive unit there. And I would move it to the floor.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The initiative is reported to the agenda. We're going to go out of order and skip to LCS Initiative 9 since Mr. Gardner is still with us. This is a resolution authorizing the county manager to enter into a collective bargaining agreement with the Road Patrol Bargaining Unit. Mr. Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This unit consists of 12 officers, 9 patrol officers, 2 sergeants, and 1 lieutenant. They're deployed within the Sheriff's Road Patrol, but also in the Street Crimes Task Force and the new Narcotics Unit. And I think if you look at how Schenectady County and the City of Schenectady have been dealing with violent crime, the fact that we've had great cooperation between the county and the city and all our town police departments as well, is I think we've done a little bit better than our neighboring counties. A lot of these provisions would be the same as the other ones, vacation bonus day and vacation bonus pay. We eliminate Schenectady Meds 1 effective July 1st, 2022. Other co-pays are incentivized as well. The pay increases are 2% plus $2,000 bonus in year 1 and 2.25% in years 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if these 2 contracts are enacted by the legislature, the good news is we're fully negotiated through the end of 2025 for all the county employees, and then through 2026 for the UCC, which is we're a joint employer with all the towns in the city for. Hazardous duty pay increases 1%. A new 25-year longevity step is added, and the uniform allowance is increased as well. Law enforcement differential increases 1% in 2022 and 0.5% in 2023 and 2024. The Road Patrol unit is the only unit of the within Schenectady County which has the right to go to interest arbitration. In the past 19 years, we've gotten interest arbitration on 2 occasions with the bargaining unit. So we think this is a fair contract for everybody, and urge you to consider it. See if there's any questions.
Are there any questions?
Move to report.
Second? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The initiative is reported to the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item is LCS Initiative 7, a resolution confirming the appointment of a person to the position of Chief Information Officer in the Department of Information Services. County Manager Fluman will provide some background on this initiative, and Deputy Director of Information Services Laura Baker is here too.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'm pleased to introduce Laura Baker, if you've not met her. She's our Deputy Director of our IT department. She has served us valiantly during both the times of COVID through in 2019 when we had the incident that will not be named, when we had the attack on our financial system, our current switchover from our old financial system to Munis. We were just in a 2.5-hour meeting this afternoon on that. All our timesheets and payroll conversions for how we pay people weekly. There doesn't seem to be a thing that Laura doesn't have her hands on in this county, whether it's helping our county clerk with adjusting how the public can interact with the clerk's website. Paul Brady, as far as trying to break down those barriers of getting people to be able to apply for monies for daycare. Our new website that we launched, Ms. Baker primarily was the one that led the charge in fixing it, getting it right. She's certainly very valuable to all department heads. She's been valuable to me. So I'm happy to come and ask you folks for confirmation for appointment for the Director of Information Services.
Thank you very much, Manager Fluman. I'm very happy to be nominated. I'm happy that you think so highly of the work that I've done, and I really look forward to doing it for the foreseeable.
Having, Mr. Chairman, having known Ms. Baker for quite some time, if there aren't any other questions, I'm ready to make a motion to move this to the agenda for next week.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? The initiative is reported to the agenda. Thank you. Our next item is legislative LCS Initiative 8, a resolution to create and eliminate certain positions in the Department of Information Services. And Mr. Fluman and Ms. Baker will give us some information on that.
Our junior network administrator has been with us actually since 2017, came to us as an unpaid intern from SECC. And in the 4 years that he has been working with us, he's developed his skills significantly. And we recognize that he no longer needs the tutelage of a senior person and can stand on his own. So we would like to eliminate the junior position and put him in as a full network analyst. Mr. Artis is an extremely talented young individual who has got us through most of the incidents that Manager Fluman brought up earlier. So with your permission, I'd like to move with that motion.
Just a comment on that. I don't know the young man, but being a part of the Workforce Development Committee, I want to commend you for taking a homegrown young man from SEC, bringing him in, and now 4 years later, from the hard work that he's put in, the hard work that you put in, and his tutelage, we're able to continue to keep him in and keep him in our economy, keep him in our workforce. So I just think that's awesome, and I just want to say thank you for doing that, and hopefully we can have many, many more stories like that. So thank you so much, and if there's nothing else, if there's anything else.
Any other questions or comments?
Move to report.
Is there a second?
And I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The initiative is reported to the agenda. This concludes our business. The Committee on Labor and Civil Service is now closed.
Congratulations. Thank you. Our next committee is the Committee on Public Facilities, Transportation, and Infrastructure, to be chaired by Legislator Paterni.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'd like to call to order the Committee on Public Facilities, Transportation, and Infrastructure. This evening we have 2 items on the agenda. The first is PFTI 7, resolution authorizing the implementation and funding of 100% of the costs of a transportation project of which qualified costs may be reimbursed from Bridge New York funds. And this one talks about project on Old River Road in the town of Niskayuna, and we have Paul Sheldon with us tonight to discuss further. Thanks, Paul.
December 2021, Schenectady County was awarded $963,470 for the replacement of the Old River Road culvert in the town of Niskayuna. This is one of 2 Bridge New York projects, Bridge New York projects that Schenectady County was awarded. Project was located between Rosendale Road and the Albany County line. Old River Road serves as a commuter route for motorists traveling between Colony and Niskayuna and carries nearly 8,000 vehicles per day. Precast concrete culvert is nearly 70 years old and has reached its useful life. State funding for the project is 100% reimbursable, and the design will begin this summer with construction in approximately 2024. Any questions?
Move to report.
Move to report. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Thank you. All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. This initiative is reported to the agenda. And the second and final thing for PFTI is PFTI 8. Again, same wording, and it's this one talks about a project on Sanders Road in the town of Glenville.
Thank you. Again, the second Bridge New York project is located on Sanders and Glenville. New York State DOT approved a $985,300 project to replace the culvert on that road. concrete culvert is nearly 7 years old and has seen a significant amount of maintenance over the last 15 years. Again, the funding is 100% reimbursable. We're planning on starting the design on that project this summer, and hopefully construction will be next year.
Mr. Chair, can I just ask an inventory question? So knowing that these grants are out there, do we have a stack plan where we go out and we look at every culvert and they kind of rotate through
Yeah,
5 or 10 years?
Through the MS4 program, all of our culverts are inspected every 5 years. They've actually moved that up to every 3 years now. So we have a rolling inventory of projects that we're always looking at. We always try to work on them in-house, but when these funding opportunities come up, we definitely jump at them. So,
Are there any more questions?
Move to report.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. This initiative is reported to the agenda also. Thank you, Paul. And if there's nothing more to come before the Committee on Public Facilities and Transportation and Infrastructure, it is now closed.
Thank you. Our next committee is the Committee on Public Safety and Firefighting, to be chaired by Legislator Constantine.
We'll call the order of the Committee on Public Safety and Firefighting. We have one item tonight, PSF 5, a resolution regarding the acceptance of monies from the New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services for the funding of indigent legal defense services in the county. And as you can see, it's a large amount of money and 35 to 45 pages of explanations and contracts. So John McPhillips, our Commissioner of Finance, is here to explain and answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Chairman Constantine. This is the third year of a 5-year, multi-million-dollar grant from the New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services that sort of compounds year on year. The annual amount is roughly $685,000 that from year 1 compounds to year 2, where another $685,000 comes into play. Year 3, another $685,000. By the time you get to year 5, you're roughly at just under $10.3 million of state investment financial resources into the county's Public Defender's Office, the Conflict Defender's Office, and the Office of Assigned Counsel. And those funds are used to do various personnel and programmatic increases in augmentation for the delivery of indigent legal services. Particularly with regard to year 3, there are several positions being added for the Public Defender's Office. There's an assistant public defender, a clerical aide part-time, a paralegal, and in the Conflict Defender's Office, in terms of year 3 funding specifically, an additional assistant conflict defender and a confidential investigator. There's also other various programmatic resources. You'll see some significant resources in professional services. Those funds will be used to increase services associated with investigations, stenographers, expert testimonies, and the like, really to bolster the indigent services provided by the Public Defender, the Conflict Defender, and the Office of Assigned Counsel.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any additional questions?
Move to report.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Thank you. Item's been moved to the floor. That will close public safety and firefighting. Thank you.
Thank you. Our final committee meeting of the evening is the Committee on Ways and Means, to be chaired by Legislator McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I call the Committee on Ways and Means to order.
Mr. Chairman, I note the agenda includes no items that have not been dual referrals from other committees that were discussed earlier this evening, and I would ask if you'd entertain a motion to move the Ways and Means calendar in its entirety.
We will. We have a motion. Do we have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The Committee on Ways and Means is now closed.
Thank you. And prior to adjourning our committee meeting this evening, I'd like you to all join me in welcoming Mariah Outlaw, our new Director of Legislative Operations. If you just wave. If you get a chance to stop and say hello on the way out, welcome aboard. And with that, our committee meeting is over, and if you stick around, we have our training session afterwards. Thanks so much.